Good evening, Cubes of the Cash. Gary B, the Casual Comic Guy here. And today, guys, I'm here because I read something after hearing a friend speak so passionately about it. I knew that I had to read it as well. So we're talking about Joe from Anachronic Comics. Now, there's a Superman story that he loves, and he's at least spoken to me about it a minimum of twice. Last time being on the 1011, and I'll link that episode below because you got to hear how passionately he speaks about this story. And the story is a Superman tale. Now, you know, on this channel, I'm not a reader of Superman, but Joe has spoken about this story so much, with such conviction, such passion, and such love in his face and in his eyes when he talks about this story, that I had to experience this story for myself and form my own opinion on it and read it. Would it have the effect on me that it had on a lifetime reader of Superman? Would I read this book, this arc, and love it as much as Joe does? Well, probably not as much, but we're talking about Superman, Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow, Part 1 in Superman 423. Kurt Swan, art Inside and Out, and Action Comics 583. Now, when Joe brings up this story, you can see it transport him. It takes him to another place. It takes him to this really zen moment. You can see the smile. You can see the passion. You can see what this story does to Joe. And that's when people talk about the medium of comic books and they can't get past, oh, this is kiddie fare. And they're talking, but they like art, they like reading, but you put them together and it's all of a sudden taboo. They don't realize that incredible stories can be told through this medium. And I'm happy to say that me, as not being a Superman fan, now I'm not a hater either, it's just not what I read. I sat down this evening, I bought these two books just because of Anachronic Comics, and I sat down and I read them. So ultimately, what was my take on Superman, Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow? And I'm going to tell you right now, Joe was 100% correct. This is incredible storytelling, absolutely amazing. And we'll take a look, but Joe talked about it and how the story moved him and how it was an essential Superman tale. And we're just I just had to open it because I want to make sure I say the creators' names correctly. Of course, you had Alan Moore as the writer. Kurt Swan, there was the other one, George Perez. I was forgetting somebody and it was going to bother me. And they definitely need their kudos. You had Todd Klein as the letterer, Gene D'Angelo as the colorist, and Julius Schwartz was the editor. But this two-part story starts out innocently enough. You have a reporter showing up at Lois's house to interview her, and she's talking about an event that happened with Superman. Now, this story doesn't take place in the regular timeline. It's basically billed as a what-if story or just a make-believe tale. But this tale captured Superman in such a way that I haven't felt about Superman since I saw Christopher Reeve's Superman movies and how he portrayed him. And that's humanity. These stories, they're not about the action. They're not about the punch-in. It's about the humanity of Superman. You see him wrestling with decisions. You see a Superman where all these villains have come back to fight him. Villains die. Friends die. And I'm not going to tell you what villains. I'm not going to tell you what friends. Just there's cataclysmic things that happen to Superman in these two issues. To people he loves and people he loathes. And to his morality. And the morality of Superman comes on very strong in these two stories. This is an expertly written tale. It captures, like I said, the humanity of Superman. And the best moments of this tale are seeing Superman watching his friends, knowing how much he loves them, the internal struggles he has with how he treats his friends and the people he's loved. how he feels he's failed them, how he feels he's helped them, and ultimately what his existence means to them, good and bad. This is a Superman that is introspective, ultimately flawed because that's how he perceives himself. So his confidence is shook by his humanity that he gained on Earth and through just his strength of character. And this is a tale that's absolutely amazing. Everything is nailed in this. The art is fantastic. The characters are great. The writing, of course, is top-notch by Alan Moore. And there's a reason that this two-parter is talked about so fondly. I found out by Anachronic Comics. This is a spectacular tale. I was going to read one issue tonight, another issue tomorrow, and I had to sit there and read the whole thing in one sitting. It was so good. It was so fulfilling. It was such a great tale. Reading this, and you're just reading about this guy who just loves his friends. He loves the world he lives in. He just wants to protect everything around him, even though it's absolutely impossible to do that. And when he can't, takes it on a personal and moral level. And when unforeseen things happen, he takes it as his failed responsibility to hold up to his standards. And it is just a spectacular tale. So, Joe, from me to you, I can't thank you enough, buddy. You talked about it so passionately. I had to read it. I read it. A great tale. I'll read this again and again. This is writing at its best. This is a tale from start to finish that just sucks you in. And you sit there with Superman and you feel what he's feeling. And you're concerned with what his concerns are. And so this 2 issues succeeds on every level a comic can succeed. So, Joe, great recommendation. I see why it's one of your best stories you've ever written. One of your favorite, one of the best stories ever written. One of your favorite stories you've ever read. And it did not disappoint, sir. Thank you for leading me to it. I thoroughly enjoyed this read. And like I said, I don't read a lot of Superman, but every once in a while something's recommended to me, and usually that'll hit it out of the park for me. This is one of those times. Absolutely fantastic. But that's it for today, guys. A big, huge thank you to Anachronic Comics, Joe Travato over there, for recommending this and getting this out there and speaking about it passionately enough to make me want to read it. And so I can have a discussion with him about it. But great story, great books. You can get both of these together for under 20 bucks. I highly recommend, if you like stories that make you look at characters in a different light, that you pick these up. This, to me, was the essence of what makes Superman, Superman. Job well done. Again, thank you, Joe. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, keep it casual.